everybody knows about obviously what's been transpiring with Diddy, but I think it's a larger conversation. One of the biggest people that was trolling him was 50 Cent, and last week he actually got brought up on accusations from his baby mom. Then we see Jonathan Majors, we see Vince McMahon. This is like a common theme over the last 16 months.
Yeah,
of powerful men that have had issues with women, a variety of different issues, from assault to accusations to all kinds of different things, right? And it's some have actually ruined businesses, and some are still in the allegation phase. But what's your thoughts and takeaways from this current landscape? That when we're seeing Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, he got accused of something. There's just like a variety of different people that have been, in the over the top.
I think for too long, men that have had power have used it to get sexual favors out of people, and I don't think men are taught properly how to approach a woman or be able to read the room when it's time to back away. Is some of it witch hunting? I'm sure in some of the cases, yes, but I think there's too much force going on, and whatever I keep saying, whatever you do is going to come out publicly. So you have to remember, like, off the record, everything's always on the record. Some people chose to go the NDA route. Some people choose to record in their house. I think it's a good idea if you get permission to do so. But I think for too long, people use their money, power, wealth to throw themselves upon people who didn't want it. And also, too, back to the integrity thing, Vince McMahon, you should have paid. The girl settled with you. You paid her $900,000 of the $3. What did you think was going to happen? Like, she agreed to the $3, you agreed to the $3. Okay, great. After y'all agreed to the $3, pay. He was paying everybody else anyway. And also, too, going back to Vince McMahon, if that many people died in the NBA, David Stern would have went to jail. At one point, almost a wrestler per year was dying from drug overdose that he knew about, but all of a sudden it was off the books. You can't have all these heinous actions in your business and think that nothing is going to come back on you. Like, it's better to just do business the right way, be above board, be integral, keep your word, be honorable. And I don't wish the downfall of anybody, and also too, it's another lesson, and be careful and who you cross. That boy went and married your daughter, and you tried to cut his legs from underneath him, and then your legs got undercut while teaming up with BlackRock. Like, the stuff that happens in corporate will make Narcos look like a kindergarten show. Operate with integrity, yo.
I think it's a few lessons for this is a business lesson, because I feel like this is something for, I'm going to talk from both perspectives. For men, I don't think a lot of men are actually taught how to properly interact with women. Sexual harassment is a real thing. And not even talking about these cases, but just in general. And I've seen situations firsthand where men don't
like, yo, chill.
Yeah, you're doing too much. Men don't fully understand boundaries a lot of time, right? And it starts with even boys and little kids, where men are taught to be super aggressive, right? And that's like the way that you should court women, right? And it can get a little confusing, because sometimes that can actually turn somebody on. That could turn a woman on. But in this environment, and just in life in general, I think that's not a good way to go about it, right? For me personally, I'm always super like, you got to come on to me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I'm never gonna go out of my way to do something, because at the end of the day, you don't know how a person is feeling, and sometimes it's not communicated, but it can come out later on. And they started making these sexual harassment laws in business and HR because it's a real thing. This is billions of dollars that have been in lawsuits and people fired. the workplace, sexual harassment and sexual assault in the workplace is a real thing, right? And this is why they have like training and all of that. And like a lot of times people look at it like, oh, this is corny, this is stupid, but it's really not, because it's like if you don't properly know how to interact with a woman, then you could catch a charge for something that you don't even think that is anything wrong with, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first part, is like you have to teach your sons right and wrong when it comes to dealing with women and women's boundaries. Then also women have to teach their daughters certain things as well, right? As far as like, this is something that when a lot of times you put yourself in environments where you want to be with a rapper, or you want to be with a CEO, or you want to be with, and it's like, there's a lot of negatives that come with that, right? And this is the harsh reality of stuff that we have to talk about as well, right? Where it's like, this is a lifestyle that is not holy, right? It's not holy at all. And there's benefits that come with that, monetary benefits that come with that. But now we're starting to see the dark side of that. Yeah. And I think that that's something that this is, because my thing is like, how do we learn from this? Everybody wants us to talk about Diddy and make memes, but it's like, whether we talk about him or not, it doesn't matter, right? But how do we learn from this situation? For young women, it's extremely important to understand that what's being portrayed on social media is to get a baller, to get somebody with diamonds, to get a private jet. Okay, that's cool. But now we're starting to see the other side of that story.
And the abuse that comes with it. Yeah.
You get on a private jet. Now what's happening on the jet?
Can't get off.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can't get off the jet. Right? So now it's like, now a full story has to be told. So now you can make an informed decision about, okay, the glitz and glamour, everything that glitters isn't gold. Right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's a business lesson, because these things are happening in business, and they're causing real issues in business, right? But bigger than that, it's just a life lesson that I think that a lot of people are looking past it. They're making mockery of the situation. They're having fun. They're making memes, and they're not learning from the situation, right? They want to chastise somebody. Your chastisement doesn't mean anything. If somebody's going to face time in jail, and you don't have enough power to put somebody in jail. So look at the situation objectively. You don't know these people, but you can still learn from these people, right? Yeah. And that's how I always look at it, like, what can I learn? What can I learn from this situation? And that's one thing. And I tell my friends all the time, like, be careful how you deal with women. Like, it's not okay to make somebody do something that they don't want to do. It's not okay to forcibly put somebody in a situation that's uncomfortable for them. It's not okay to touch somebody if they don't want to be touched. These are things that happen very often, and it happens so often that we start to normalize it. Even growing up, we see a lot of things that's dysfunctional, and after a while, you don't even think it's dysfunctional, because it's happened so much that it just becomes normal. But it's like, it's really not. And this is something that we really have to start having some real conversations about, as far as the proper etiquette and the proper manner, how you carry yourself, for men, but for women also.
Yeah, I think it's vitally important. I'll keep it brief. I think you kind of alluded to it, Ian. With great power comes more opportunities. With that comes more responsibility. And with that, you have to move with integrity. But I'll just add to what Shadi said. And one of the strongest things, and I think, because we make light of a lot of things, and some things really, this is not for comic relief. This is somebody's life, right? And there's victims to this. So there's no comic relief in it. But one of the most important things, and you alluded to it, but you didn't say it, is having a strong team around you. Because that's important. A lot of times when people are in positions of power, there is nobody to have a checks and balance with. And so it's kind of whatever I say goes, and I don't want to upset the person who's the head of the food chain. And with that, you're going to have abuse of power. So it's important to have a strong team. It's important to have somebody, like you said, when something is moving out of line, like, no, we need to check that now. Because number one, it's not indicative of who you are, right? So that's why the integrity part is important. But it's not indicative of who we are, right? Especially if you're representing a company, or you're representing yourself and your family, you need to make that very clear. Because the last thing you want to be part of is something that is heinous, and now you had no part in it, but the fact that you were there, you are. So having a strong team is important. Not having just yes men or yes women is important. And I think it's vice versa too. You talked about the men and when it comes to harassment, but women as well. That's happened. Not as often as men, but it does happen. So I think everybody can learn from this and make sure that, you know, when you're moving, that you're very aware and you don't lose yourself inside this space, because that can happen, right? With success, you start to lose some of the morals, you start to lose some of the integrity, you start to lose some of the character that you grew up knowing, which is easy. And that's why it's important to have strong people around you to make sure that it's not an autocorrect, but it's something that needs to be corrected in that moment.
Is the entertainment industry a playground for this though? Like even the Nickelodeon documentary
that's
that like,
yeah,
it's insane. That girl who played iCarly was Amanda Bynes was crying out for years, and everyone called her crazy in her face.
Yeah,
and never said nothing. Like
that's a tough documentary to watch.
Yeah, especially if you got kids.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure. So yeah, don't be mindful. But yeah, I don't. Abuse of any kind is something that is just a corny way to go about life. If you're abusing kids, I feel like if you're an abuser, then that's something that says a lot about you. You have an inferiority complex because you have to pick on people that are not able to match up to you physically or mentally. So you pick on a kid, you abuse a kid, that's a vulnerable person that you have more power over, right? If you abuse a woman, that's a vulnerable person 9 times out of 10 that you have more power over, or vice versa. Some women can abuse men, that happens, but most of the time it's a man abusing a woman. So it's like I don't agree with that. I don't agree with physically just beating somebody or cursing somebody out. Arguments may happen, but that's another thing. Emotional intelligence. We have to teach kids how to deal with emotions, how to because it could be heated exchange, but you don't. Nothing good comes from that. And once you start to do that on an ongoing basis, it becomes a habit, and then it becomes part of your daily routine. And before you know it, you just that just becomes part of what you do. So I think it's just be mindful. Like I said, Puff, it don't got nothing to do with Puff, really. This is just the highlight of the whole thing. So I know people, want me to throw Puff under the bus, but that's not it's not going to happen because I don't even know what happened. And B, that's not helpful, even if I did do that, right? Like me throwing Puff under the bus doesn't help the situation. It doesn't help the victims, and it doesn't get justice for anybody. It's just me speaking ignorantly because I don't know what happened. I don't have any information on it. So I think you guys would be better suited if you worry about yourselves and worry about your families and raise your children in a manner that would be conducive to this not happening again for the next generation. Because there will be another Puff. There'll be another, whoever, Vince McMahon. There'll be another X.
That's what I'm roaming around right now. They won't put charges on.
Yeah. So instead of you worrying about a celebrity, worry about your family. Worry about your community. And if we all did that, then this world would be a much better place and our culture would be in a much better space.
Fellas, no means no. If you shoot a shot in the DM, if she don't reply by the second one, let it go. If she's interested, she message you all day, all night, bro. But if you talking to yourself in the DMs for 5 months, take a clue.
That's chapter 1.
Well, mental illness is real too, and a lot of men are
for real.
And somebody got killed off of that. The woman rejected his advances, and I think it was in Brooklyn. He stabbed her in a bodega, and it's like this is real. Like what I'm saying, like if you got daughters, you got to teach your daughters to protect themselves. This is real. They gotta know the different type of environments that they can go to, hours, how you dress, a variety of different things. I'm not justifying anything, but you also have to be intelligent. You don't want to put yourself in bad situations, right? So this is real. There's a lot of men that are mentally deranged out here, and they do crazy things for no reason. So be mindful, ladies and gentlemen. That's
crazy. Women even got to give their number out and then act like they're interested to then get out the spot and block you. Like what?
Yeah,
a lot of them like, wait, you gave me a number for what? Like, no, I don't want him to go crazy, so I gave it to him, and like I was interested for it. What?
Yeah,
I got him. And some of y'all just need to start getting beat up too.
Old school.
Facts. Y'all want to be predators? Okay,
Yeah.
stop it.